Hi traders, GJ here. Welcome to the week ahead. Let's get right into it. All information in this video is for educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. It's my own personal opinions on how I see the market. You take full responsibility for any actions or trades or profit or loss results you are making or taking, and agree not to hold the distributors of this video series liable for any of the information shared. Let's get right into it. Okay, we're going to start with the dollar index here. We can see last week that there was a huge drop on the dollar index for the week. It went from 99 right down to 98,127. And you would have thought that currencies like the New Zealand USD, CAD USD, particularly the Aussie USD, would have had some sort of a pullback and lift. But due to the coronavirus, that was not the case. This was a direct result of the United States reporting its first case of the coronavirus. At the same time, the indices were dropping with the spread of the virus in Europe, also in Australia. Canada's got it, a lot of countries have got it now. We had our first case reported over the weekend. So we have seen a significant pullback in markets. So where to from here? Simply, I think we need to take a big deep breath. And the markets have had an exhaustive kind of run. If we have a look at the S&P, that's the weekly chart, but just to give you an idea, you can see this exhaustive run down here, and so far today we're seeing some sort of a lift. It doesn't mean to say it's going to go charging back up. You need to be aware of your levels. Very, very important. But so far with the opening of the market, we've seen it pull back, and it's actually going to be retesting that 3,000 mark again, and we will wait and see. Some pundits are saying that it's not over yet. Currencies are very quiet, very flat, so let's just take a big deep breath and be sensible and use common sense. So let's get to the currency pairs first. And right now for me, Aussie CAD, Aussie Swiss, Aussie JPY, great move on the Aussie JPY, a move on the Aussie USD down last week, all very nice. But right now we are at significant levels. This purple, if you can see it, let me perhaps change the color so it's brighter for you. There we go. That is off the monthly chart, and that is a key significant area. And you just go and have a look at your bigger time frames and check these things out. Support and resistance is really simple. You can see that this is a key inflection point, and what we're looking for now is a bounce, hopefully. And but this could just move sideways. So there's no trade on the Aussie CAD, there's no trade on the Aussie Swiss right now. Don't get caught up in the rhetoric that now we're going to see a great move up. This virus thing isn't over, and as long as the data remains weak coming out of China, it means the Aussie and New Zealand dollars are not going to do too well, and possibly some other currencies, but particularly the Aussie and New Zealand dollar. So be careful. Don't get caught up in the rhetoric about the great moves and the 1,000 pips that we're going to make, because that's all just a load of BS. The market's going to do what the market is going to do. And, if we come back and have a look at our daily candle change, you can see this is the area that people always get beaten up in, and I just use this to demonstrate. There's an hourly. You can see since the opening of the market today that it's just been moving sideways. It's threatening to come up. I don't trade off the hourly chart. I'm after bigger moves. but this is where traders get beaten up trying to trade on the smaller time frames. Don't get sucked in. We're not out of the woods yet, and the market will decide what's going to happen. So there's the day. So as I said, key inflection point right here. What am I looking for? If I want to go to the 4-hour, which I can do, and just take a look at what seems to be happening today. Just a lot of indecision, nothing really significant yet. Maybe that will change. Remember that we do have the cash announcement, a cash rate for the Reserve Bank of Australia tomorrow. That's about 24 hours away, and that is going to make a difference. So I'm just sitting on my hands in relationship to all the Australia crosses. JPY, that was the move there. All you had to do was put your pending order under there, and that was a lovely move last week. Aussie, New Zealand, testing this key area up here. And again, 24 hours away from the cash rate announcement, I'm sitting on my hands. Call me a big chicken, but I am not chasing the market, and I'm not giving my profits back. Here's the Aussie USD. The opening of the market today, it dropped lower to start off with, and then it moved up higher. There's the open there at the bottom of that body, and we're currently sitting in here. Key levels. We squish the chart up. Just waiting. I can see here from last week a key level in there. We saw that break. That was 65,500 area. We're just waiting to see what happens. The trend line down here. Looking to see if it can get up and retest 66. I would put another level in just up there. It's very hard when you've had a massive move down to get your levels. You can go either to a monthly or a weekly and just have a look to see where things are. Squish your charts up, but you can see we're in open territory down here. And we're at critical lows. But just because we're at critical lows doesn't mean to say this thing's suddenly going to turn around and bounce north. So protect your capital and take your profits when they're there. The only thing we can do after a massive move down like this is perhaps go down to a 4-hour. Let's have a look, because we've had about 4 hours, you see. Now that's that trend line on the daily. And it's looking promising. I've even, at the close of this candle, would have a signal to go north, but I'm looking to see if this level's going to hold once it comes back up in here. For me, it's not a very interesting level. It's 65,500. This is the key one, 66. And here is that outside trend line of the daily. If I get a break above here, I will then consider something a little stronger. But with less than 24 hours to go, I'm going to hold my peace. CAD Swiss, is this the bottom? Looking for a bottom here. Nothing more to say. We've seen it pull back off these lows down here. It attempted to go lower, and it can go lower, but it's pulled off on Friday. It had a little drop over the weekend, obviously, and pulled back up here. These are the critical areas. So I'm looking to see if I can get a good bullish signal. If I'm really aggressive in my trading, I could go down to an hourly. But I'm just being very mindful, because this could just go sideways. 72, I think, is a real key area. just roughly in there, and you can see that it's broken up. But I'm not prepared to get in. I am going to wait. I'm not interested in trading the smaller time frames. Nothing wrong with it if that's your style. That is awesome. When I have a look at through the filters of a daily chart, I can see that this here was an important level. So this could just go sideways, so I'm going to wait. CAD's JPY, lovely move down. That's where you put your pending order last week to add to the trade, breaking out this lower low. Started here, the move, on Thursday, and ended up with a beautiful result. So, but at the moment, no trade. Swiss JPY, no trade. It's just a lot of sideways movement. I just had a rush of blood to the head and wanted to have a look at what was happening on the monthly, and you can see, like, here's this ascending wedge here if you're a pattern trader. I just wanted to get a perspective. These areas are key in here. You can see the indecision. Between here and here, very important area. So until I get a close above, and I've got this marked here, and I'll just take this down here. There's the other one. Nothing doing. Euro UE, Euro AUD, beautiful move up. These are the moves that I love. Just simple stuff. As looking for the bottom, the break of the trend line here, and Bob's your uncle. So you just put your pending order in here. You can add to it once it breaks key resistance levels again. This is a great trade, but now we're at a key inflection point, and make no mistake about it. Could it go higher? Absolutely. Let's just put it in perspective here. That's the monthly. Somewhere in there, it's really a key point. And so, it's got to break this area here. We're getting near historical highs once we break this, and there is some room to move, but we have to see what is going to happen now around the CAD. Oil has come back today too, so that could mean that this trade could just stop and we could go sideways. It's looking like it's wanting to break below this key area here. We'll keep an eye on it. Maybe by the time the European session comes into play, we'll get some idea. No trade on the Euro Swissy. I'm still looking at these levels here. This didn't thrill me. I didn't want to get into it from here. I want to see a break of this trend line here on the daily, and that was more like there. But because of this level here of resistance, I did not want to take it in. So I'm waiting. I haven't got a entry. It's looking promising. So close above here is what I am looking for. Right in there. Euro pound was a great trade. Again, just simple stuff. Here's the engulfing candle, double bottom. Put your tester in, and then as soon as, for me, this blue line is my baseline, I just add it again here. Ended up holding the original trade for nearly 2 weeks, but we're at a very key inflection point again, so no trade. I'm waiting to see what happens. Euro was very strong last week. It's not strong at starting the week off. It's just not strong. No trade on the Euro JPY. I had a little go at this, a few nickels and dimes. And what has it done? Come back and retested this entry area. So I'm going to be really interested to see if it can get up and go. We've got to see if these levels here hold. And if they do, I'll be looking for a bounce off this area. Real simple stuff. Euro ZE, beautiful trade. But we are at a key inflection point. Again, if we just close things up, you can see here. In fact, the weekly demonstrates it better in my mind. You can see we've been up here before. this is really high. And so if we can get above here, there is a bit of room to move. If we go to the monthly, you can see a better picture. There it is there. This is significant. If we can get up and close here, we could see a move up, but we would need to see amazing strength in the euro if it's going to do it. So no trade. I personally have my doubts as to whether this can get up and really run, especially with the current climate around global economies, the virus, etc., etc. Already we're seeing a pullback today off this key area. You can see it started well. There was the open down there, moved on up today, but now we're starting to see a pullback. We're sort of 2 hours into the Tokyo session here. So I'm watching this level to see if it holds, watching this level to see if we get a breakout. We can get sideways movement here, and it'll cool like a rubber band. Euro USD, massive move up because of my exposure on the Euro AUD and the Euro CAD and New Zealand. I was not interested in exposing myself further on the Euro pairs. But that was a nice little move. And again, real simple stuff. Break a trend line, break a key level of resistance. Right now, if you were in this trade, I'd be encouraging you to take profit and wait to see what happens. All the pound pairs, there are no trades on the pound pairs. We're waiting for them to break key levels. Definitely in an uptrend, not a key reversal yet, but it's had difficulty at getting above these levels here. Pound Swissy broke lower last week. Here was the area of support that it broke. And, you know, it's not rocket science. There is a beautiful trade south if you want to. It's too expensive for me to trade south. So now I'm looking for some sort of a bounce, but it doesn't mean to say that I'll get it. I could just get a break of this, and down we come again. Pound CAD locked in this range, so I'm just waiting to see. Here are my key levels. Would be interested in trading off here. There's 200 pips, better than 200 pips in this range. But I need this to come down and then have some sort of signal like this, bit of an indecision candle, a bit of an engulfing candle. Could use the 4-hour chart to get in, provided everything else is lining up for me. So no trade. Pound JPY's moved down a bit like the pound Swissy. And again, this is the areas where traders can get beaten up. And we'll remove that. We've had this massive move down. You can see the support structure here. This was sideways movement, but look, it just broke the support. It didn't hold, and it broke out through here. And you can see that today's candle has been pulling back off here. So the question is this going to be a bottom? And we just have to wait and be patient. I'm happy to trade it off here. No problem at all. Pound New Zealand, very similar to the pound Aussie. No trade. There's no trade on the pound USD. We've already regained on a lot of the pound pairs the losses that we had from Brexit. I don't know if you're aware of that, but that needs to be stated. And we've broken down below the 129 area. If we get a break of 128, this could be significant. Now, right in there looks like a good support area. That's at 128.28. So I just bring it down to around 128 to be safe. And you see on Friday it busted below, but it's come back up. Today, the daily candle, it's anybody's guess. Here's the key question. Is this going to be the support area, and will it hold? Remember, with the pound pairs, there's lots of volatility. No trade on the New Zealand. I'm going as quick as I can. New Zealand USD. A lot of people said it couldn't come, sorry, New Zealand Swissy, a lot of people said it couldn't come lower, but it has. And you can have a look at it. Key inflection points. This was a real key point. This is the next one. This could just slide on down, especially if the New Zealand dollar remains weak. This could just move sideways, edge down. Down here, I want this to bottom out, and I want this to give me a good bullish play. New Zealand CAD at a key inflection point again. Here's the first one. If this level's going to hold, then anything could happen. We are definitely in a downtrend. This is the key area, and we could just see this meander on down. In a trend line here, it's not looking like it's breaking. You could put a third one in here if you wanted to. If oil strengthens and the CAD strengthens, we could see this meander on down here. And this is where I'm going to be looking for some action if it gets down to here. If it doesn't, and it turns around and comes up and gets above this, what appears to be this area of resistance, I will look for a bullish signal here. But I'm not holding my breath, because I think the New Zealand dollar this year is going to be weaker. New Zealand Japan was another good trade we had last week. It started up here, break of this level. We're able to add with a break of this level here. Early Wednesday night, Thursday morning, just took off. But you can see that it's pulling back. It's pulled back. So is this level going to hold? So there's a lot of just wait and see. I'm sorry, this week there's no amazing opportunities. I think after the big losses on Thursday and Friday, it's just take a big deep breath. So right now, if I put a manual trend line down here on the New Zealand USD, 63 looks like a pretty key level to me, an interesting level. If you go and look left, you can see in here the 63.50, and here's the next level right in here if you're looking at it purely from a technical perspective, which is sitting around about 63. You bring back the price action. If this can come up and get back in here and move sideways, we might set up for a move north. If this comes and retests this area here, we could see a further move south. My inclination would be that we're going to see a further move south. We might get a little pullback like this up in here. Right, US Caddy has run out of steam, and we've seen today a move down off these highs of Friday. US dollar is looking weak. This is a key level for the USD Caddy, and again, when we took a look at the US dollar index, just a quick look, you can see it's pulling back off. It broke through these key levels. Keep your eye on it. This is the daily, looking to see if this level holds. If this level holds, coming back to the US Caddy, you could see this level hold, and it could make another play up. It all depends on what happens around the virus. Remember, if the virus is contained, I think it will halt the fall in the US dollar index. If it's not, if it breaks out and begins to spread through the United States, I think the US dollar is going to weaken. So here's the key levels. Just watch for these key levels here. One, it's touched here. This is critical. USD Swiss here. If we get a break below here, this could easily come lower. USD Japan is at key levels. It broke below 109. It looks like 107 will be the next area if 108 does not hold. 108 is right in there, and we've seen it on Friday break, pull back up over the weekend. it got down here, and today here's the open, so it originally moved and tried to push lower, and now it's coming back. So the key question is, will 108 continue to hold? And if it does hold, then we could see a stabilization. I think we're going to see a lot of sideways movement, quite frankly. Okay, we're back down around this area here on gold. And if we come up here, this is the area I'm watching, 1600. This is still a safe haven. If the virus causes the markets to go crashing again, I think that we'll see another rise up on gold. So just keep an eye on these levels, 1600. Silver has come back. It got right down to 1650, 16300, 16400, and like gold, it's moved back down, and we're looking at key levels now. You can see that here's a key inflection point again. Look at this, right in here. So it's a matter of just being patient, my friends, and please stay safe out there. Please protect your capital. Don't take unnecessary risks. So let's just take a look at the economic calendar. There's nothing much today. A bit of PMI for Britain, but I don't expect anything to happen. The next most important one is going to be this cash rate around Australia. They're predicting points cut by 25%. Governor Lowe will be very reluctant to do that. If this takes place, I think you're going to see the Aussie dollar continue to fall. So if you win any Aussie US dollar trades or Aussie trades and you've got your profits protected, make sure they are. And then you could very much see a move lower. Because of the China situation, I don't think the Reserve Bank of Australia has a lot of option. So we'll see if the market is predicting it right. GDP quarter on quarter is going to be a big one for Aussie too. That comes Wednesday. And then don't forget we've got non-farm payment this week. So that's always going to move or have the potential to move the markets. Doesn't mean to say it's going to move the markets. We've got Bank of Canada rate statement, and there is no prediction of a cut in the overnight rate, but there's always the unexpected. You've got Carney speaking later in the week, and that will be interesting. Also, the Bank of Canada. I'm not sure whether... No, it's just a university and college. But he can move the market, so just keep an eye on it. What's the bank? Okay, it's the economic progress report, so that could be significant for Canada. We've got employment change and trade balance for Canada to wind the week up, unemployment, and the same with the non-farm payroll. So stay safe out there, take your profits when they're there, and protect your capital, please, and be patient this week, and let's just be really sensible in the way we approach the markets. Take care, and we'll talk to you in the chat room. Cheers.